Hello everyone, this is White Wolf, and I wanted to do this message talking about sacrificing what we directly can't see at this moment in time and tapping into the infinite realm of possibility and understanding that just because we can't see it does not mean that it hasn't already happened and that it hasn't already manifested itself and that you're not attracting it right here, right now. Understanding that you're always attracting what you cannot see. And just because it hasn't happened yet, just because it hasn't come to fruition, just because it doesn't happen on your timestamp, does not mean that it will never happen. So understanding that just because you want it to happen right then and there does not mean that it'll always happen. But it's already happened because past, future, and present is happening simultaneously. And when past, future, and present is happening simultaneously, that means there's an infinite parallel realities, parallel aspects, parallel selves, and your personality traits are really just coming into balance with one another. So just because you haven't manifested yet or created it doesn't mean that you haven't already created it. That allows you to relieve the tension in your life and to see that you're always projecting, you're always calling yourself to your destiny, and you're always calling everything back to yourself when you don't even realize that you're doing it. So it could be your words having power. It could be changing your vocabulary. It could be changing your routine, but it also could be just you making a decision that alters your reality in the space-time continuum altogether. So understanding that you're always creating what you're creating, it has already been created, and you're the creator of it because it's inside of your vortex, and you always come full circle right back around it again. So just because it's not here does not mean that it's not here. It just means you haven't tapped into it yet. And some of the things that I really wanted early on in my journey, and I felt like I had to really scrape through and I had to go with it, and I had to really just be with it and be patient with it and have love towards it and love the journey to the point where you just enjoy the roller coaster ride of awakening. And you just surrendered so much to the point where you really activate the sense of allowance and surprise and wonder. And you allow yourself to question, what is my resistance or my impatience or feeling like I have to push this out into the forefront instead of just basking in the glory of how you can just attract your dream life. Right here, you can live your best life now. You can be wealthy now. You can be handsome now or beautiful now. You can be beautiful in your own self-image of the I Am Presence. You just have to allow yourself to appreciate the beauty that's already here. And it's like this guy said here, lack isn't a real thing. Lack is an illusion. Every illusion that we see through when we go about something in a negative way, or we project something negative, or we decide to go about it in a negative pattern, then we haven't dissolved the ego in every situation. So that means that the ego is not purified to where you've changed the polarity of positive and negative. So now you have the sense of like, okay, if I choose this cause, then it's going to have this effect. And a lot of people don't think that there is cause and effect, but in my teachings, I've always talked about changing your causes and effect, changing your actions, changing your thoughts, and changing your emotions. But it's sometimes just changing the way that you act. Sometimes it's kind of like, if it takes a little bit in the morning, because sometimes I'm not a morning person myself, and I have to get that cup of coffee, and then I have to meditate, and then I'm ready to interact with people. So it's not always just instantaneous, but we are simultaneous in our nature. Sometimes we're manifesting even in our dreams, in our slumber, because sometimes we're doing soul retrievals. Sometimes we're helping somebody with even a psychic reading. And sometimes we have dreams that are helping us decipher the vision that we have for our life, but also something that we have to clear within ourselves, a past lifetime. So there's many different variables when you are realizing that every time that you have to sacrifice what you cannot see is meaning that just because you don't see it doesn't mean it's staring you dead in the face. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it's not staring you in the face. And sometimes it's an argument with your friend or your significant other, or sometimes it's you having resistance towards something that you're afraid to act on. Or sometimes it's like this morning I was trying to buy cigars and I had to log in, but I forgot my password. And then I had to log in all together again. And then I had to make a new account, make a new password, make everything new again. And it just took a little time, but there was a little bit of impatience there. So it was just kind of like to the point where we allow ourselves to see everything kind of takes a little bit of time, gratitude, and just allowing ourselves to be human sometimes. Just because we are perfection doesn't mean that we have moments of imperfection, but that allows us to have a purified ego and to kind of keep our equilibrium in check when we allow ourselves to be aware of a time of impatience, a time of disconnect. Because it allows us to be humble, because we can't have one person have all the power in the world, or humanity will fuck it up. They will just like wish everything and wish this and wish that. So, and then we have to really decipher that the power is inside of us, and because of the container, we allow ourselves to have the power that we need at this exact moment in time, so that we're able to elevate the energy and maintain that pyramid analogy, so that we can always keep ascending higher and higher and higher, so that we can keep going along the path, and then we are able to understand that we know what we need to know, and every time that truth is delivered or it's given to us, we allow ourselves to finally actually receive it. But in a constant state of reception is really sacrificing what you don't know, and that you already received all of the heat-seeking missile blessings. You've already received the undeniable gift of life. You've already received that guided meditation that was so powerful, that was so impactful. You've already received all of the experiences, because if we never had that experience, there would be no experiencing or existing. So existence has a reason to exist, or we would all just blow up and be within light, and then the world would just stop, and the sun would stop, and everybody would just stop, and it wouldn't be here anymore. That's why there is somewhat of a ladder, and that's why there is somewhat of hierarchy, so that we're not trying to skip levels. Now you can accelerate levels, and you can go really fast and go really accelerated, but you can't skip levels, or you will act out of a nature that is not pure. So it's about taking our time, knowing that we're in the absence of time, and because that we're in the absence of time, we have all the time in the world. Sometimes with my exercising, I like to get it out of the way, and I don't like to eat right in the morning. I like to have my morning coffee. And what makes me always feel good is when I get it done. When I run and when I swim, and then I have all the activities that I do, and then I do some chores, and then I get everything done that I feel is needed before I do whatever I need to do metaphysically. Because that keeps me on a schedule and on a routine that allows me to understand what my mission is and what my job is. So it allows me to keep grounded and keep in a sincere way, and to keep myself humble, and to be appreciative and kind towards everything. And sacrificing what we can't see is always sacrificing what is in the betterment of everybody around you. And even people, even our clients, even people who reflect to us are reflections for us. But this is when we tap into a mirrored state of consciousness, where we're reflecting the oracle. We're reflecting our guides, our higher self, and God within ourselves, so that we're able to emulate that love, and then have spiritual mass, which is light, and then we're able to infuse that with wisdom, discernment, and authority, so that other people are able to discern who they are in their intuitive nature. And when we're able to do this, we're able to deliver, and we don't need to know the details of every situation, or we don't need to know everything that we need to know. So she said, what does the term oracle mean? And I think I've seen you before, and I hope you're doing well. So that, like, when I say the oracle of love, light, and wisdom, it's kind of like the one infinite creator from the law of one, but I made my own term because I was thinking of this term, and I looked up the definition of the term oracle. It means to have like a council. It means to have a higher plane that you come from. It means to have a wisdom that supersedes all understanding. But the term oracle really means that you channel a counsel that is around you, like your guides and your higher self. So that's kind of a condensed version. But when I was looking it up, that was really what it was saying, that you have a higher counsel that you speak to, that they dictate to you, that they allow you to know this knowledge, and they relate to you so that you're able to channel that within to awareness. But also, when I say the Oracle of Love, Light, and Wisdom, it's just a condensed version of the 6 densities of consciousness that we're all tapping into. So like everybody has an awareness of self. Everybody has an awareness of I, but they don't have an awareness of I am. So then that's where love comes in. There's more compassion, there's more healing, there's more letting go. And then 5th density, that's where you tap into an infused version of love and wisdom, to where you're able to give love unconditionally and have acceptance beyond your own personal bias. And then you're able to discern and have an understanding of what everybody needs and what they're supposed to receive at that moment in time. And then 6th density is where you come into unity and balance and love, to where you're able to see themselves in a much different light, and you see them encompass, and you see them through the lens of God. You see them as God. So I hope that answered your question. But when I was looking up the definition of the word, it was really that you channel a high counsel and guides and energies that guide you and guide the message and teach you the way. So that's why I use the term Oracle of Love, Light, and Wisdom. So that is really how we sacrifice what we don't see, because it allows us to see more. Just because we don't see who we really are at this moment in time does not mean that we're not becoming who we are. But in order to become who we are, we have to completely lose the sense of that I am this person, that I am this extension, that I am this energy. We have to lose the sense of we are that energy. I am that because you are, and you are because I am. And we allow ourselves to sacrifice what we don't see, because we allow ourselves to really see from a high vantage point that we are always receiving and seeing everything that we need at this point in time. So in the infinite realm of possibilities, we have to be consecrated in our intention, in our energy, in our vibrancy. So we're just emitting a higher vibration and putting that out in the world, so that everybody is allowing themselves to remember that they are a starseed, that they've been on the path, even when they didn't have the recognition that they were on the path. So it's a spontaneous recognition that is interwoven with different timelines, that is allowing everybody to be of a sacred timeline, so that everybody is interconnected and everybody is growing and persevering and having allowance with each other on the path. So sacrificing what you don't see is trying to sacrifice that you need to know everything, that you need to control everything, that you need to have everything in order in your life in order to be happy, which that's a false projection. That's a false reality. That's not love. So now some of you are like, who is this guy? Who do you think you are? I don't want you to think that I'm just like talking at you. I want you to think that I'm delivering and sharing with you. So, because that's the way that we teach, is to share, and to go from our own inner knowing and our own inner being allows us to know each other very deeply and profoundly. So if you sacrifice what you don't see, you will always sacrifice everything that costs you and that limits you and puts you in a category or a box that doesn't allow you to grow. And then you don't feel like a mime. You know, you don't feel like you're not able to speak, and you're not able to do the things that you want to do. And you're not able to leave this box that you've been closed in, or these patterns, or these past lifetime progressions, or poverty consciousness. And so you don't feel like a mime, and you don't feel like you're trying to so now you're able to let go of that invisible box or that invisible cage, and you break out of that shell that you've been in for quite some time, and now you're not so closed off, but you're allowing yourself for greater intensity of intention. So do I do phone readings? Yes, I do private sessions, and yes, I do live feeds where I do psychic readings, healings, and activations. So yes, I do that. If you want to book a private session, just text me on TikTok. It's 1 hour for 120 and 2 hours for 220. So what I wanted to relay in this was that the only way to access this is to really sacrifice everything. Sacrifice your false implications, your false intentions, your false persona, in a sense. So your false self, everything that is of a negative nature, everything that is of a dark nature, that is of a selfish nature, that is of a nature of lust, that is of a nature where it's not blessing everybody around you, and you're wanting them to be more connected with God, which is positivity, empowerment, peace, love, and righteousness, so that everybody can receive upon who they are, so that that darkness can be transmuted into light, and then the darkness and the light can be infused together, so that there is a fine balance of truth, there's a fine balance of your energy, there's a grounding presence and a calming presence when you're able to deliver to other human beings. Hello, Gus. Hope you're doing well. So you're able to give a fine-tuned, balanced, unified, loving truth to everybody. That it's not coming from a filter, it's not coming from this energy or that energy, but it's coming from, like I said, the energy of the pyramid, or you can call it the energy of Metatron's cube, which taps into all of sacred geometry, so that there is a level of symmetry and there's a level of precision to where you're coming from. And that there's this beautiful rainbow energy around you that encompasses all of light, so that everybody can know themselves in a more pure, vast way. And then your reflections will be automatic, your choices will be automatic, your freedom will be automatic, because you will just channel that in every single moment. Because nothing will be of a surprise to you once you've reached this level of awareness. And it's not about yourself. It's about the other recipients. It's about other people. And it's about the world at large, because then you're taking the focus off of yourself and you're not doing it from a self-centered nature. That's pain and suffering and low self-esteem. But when you do it from your heart, then that means you're coming from a sincere place. So there's two people. Are we meant to be pure in this life or be human and have that experience? So there are people who will stay in that resonance, but it's the people who want it and choose to be it. Because sometimes there's certain people who will resonate within that, but there's always that one or two people in the family that go off and live their journey and purify generationally, and they purify everything that they've experienced in every past lifetime, and they heal and transcend the human conditioning. So some people are meant to have that, but most people who are watching this message, most of you want to obtain enlightenment. Not that we ever really become fully enlightened. I want to reaffirm that as well, because that's not a pure state of consciousness, is to say, oh, I'm fully enlightened. There's always something that you're healing in some way. So it's like Norma has another question that I would like to answer. It's hard to stay in a higher frequency when others around you are in such a low frequency. So this is where you have to have separation within yourself. This is where you have to have separation of energies. You have to separate yourself and put up this protection, this shield of energy, this billion layer protection grid over yourself so that you're able to repel and ward off the other lower frequencies. And if you're just around people that try to suck the life out of you, then you just need to get the fuck away from them. That would be my hard-nosed reply to you. But it's more of like, okay, I want to stay in my frequency, so I'm not going to go to this place where it's of a lower energy, of a lower frequency. And if you have to, then you have to really implement boundaries and you have to set protocols. Before you like walk into your job or something like that, you have to enact protocols. You're like archangels of love and light who's willing to cleanse me in my work field, tapping into God's source energy and the great I am, diving deep into Middle Mother Gaia Earth, grounding back into the earth, because then what you're doing is that you're segregating and repelling with your shield off of that energy. That energy is not of you and it's not supposed to be in your space. That's when you reached a level of power. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying that out of a egoic nature. I want everybody to understand that too. I'm saying it from experience and from my clients and from my livelihood, because I used to go to the store all the time. And I would feel bad after I went to the store. I was like, how do I get on top of this? And now I just have to kind of understand that there is going to be energy, there is going to be side energy, there is going to be energy. I just have to remain in the firm understanding that I have the power to brush that out of my way and change the energy wherever I go. But sometimes there is a deep fog, and then sometimes you just need to sage yourself down. But I'm going to do a meditation in a moment, so if you guys want to take part in that meditation, I would think it would be very helpful. So one of the last things that I wanted to say was sacrificing what you can't see is seeing the truth for what it is and seeing us as nothingness and seeing us as zero-point creation and seeing ourselves as the light that appears into awareness because we are the appearance of light. Meaning that we come from light and sometimes we have to experience the dark night of the soul in order to embrace the light within ourselves. But we come from light in the beginning, but we have to incarnate and transcend the human conditioning and transcend everything that we've ever went through in order to become that essence of source energy. So, we're going to do a meditation. So if you want to be a part of this meditation, feel free to relax, feel free to tap into yourself, and feel free to take a deep breath within yourself and relax your definition. And also, guys, just feel free to book private sessions, and also feel free to stay tuned when I go live and I do psychic readings and healings. So in this moment, what I want you to do is that I want you to relax your spine, relax your neck, and just relax your body as you can fully let go in this moment and be pure and vibrant and alive as you want to be. So in this moment, you can close your eyes, you can focus on an object, but just allow yourself to tap in. And understand that when you sacrifice, you are letting go, and when you let it go of everything, you are healing. And then when you are healing, you're transmuting the energy, and then you're finally having integration and fertility within yourself. So when you're able to do that, you're able to tap into your gut instincts. Going with your gut instincts will automatically align you to the heart, which will align you to the mind so that you have that Infinity 8 signature within yourself. So you are that vortex, you're that living, breathing vortex, that immovable object that projects love, peace, and righteousness to everything. It reconfigures the energy. It figures out how to encapsulate the energy and how to be the energy and to let the energy do its job. So tap into your heart, know yourself, love yourself, but know that you are the infinite realm of possibility, that you are your own spiritual realm, upon which you can become the oracle that channels its guides, its higher self and God to the physical body to not limit the physical mind. So we can be the light crashing in so that we can give back to this planet, and we can also just keep sacrificing everything. Sacrificing our vanity, how we look, how we feel, how we're supposed to have everything on time to dissolve control, but to really immerse ourselves in reception and allowance so that we can have the element of surprise and that we can finally receive the blessing. Is meaning that we've already been given the gift of living, we've already been given the gift of life. It's just what we choose to do with that gift. It's a choice to be free, it's a choice to be wise, and it's a choice to be loving. And if we allow ourselves to do that, then we are allowing love to be channeled through ourselves. And when you have the ability to love, you have the ability to laugh. You have the ability to not take everything so serious and to not take it personally or be too sensitive or insensitive. But you have that fine balance of knowing yourself. So just have the ability to be transparent in every moment. If you have the ability to do that, then you have the ability to be an open channel for the divine to channel through you. That forgiveness is automatic and faith is already known. And walking in the truth and walking in the Spirit is very hard. Walking in the Spirit does not mean you have to be a monk. But walking in the Spirit means that you have to be true to your divinity. You have to be true to your alignment. You have to be true to your heart. You have to be true to everything that is holy. And then you can't stray away from that. You can't look away. You can't run away this time. Because most of our lives, human beings just run away from things and continue to perpetuate the same actions, experiences, patterns. But then once you step outside of the box, then everything starts to really change very quickly. And the reason why it does that is because there is a shakening. Sometimes when we're reflected truth, it might feel like a slap on the wrist. Sometimes when we're reflecting truth to others, it might feel a little harsh, but it's tough love. It's firm, but it's fair. And if we all understand that, then we all will just receive and to not be blocked and to get out of our own way. If we just get out of our own way, then we have paved a way for others. But it has nothing to do with ourselves. It has a lot to do with our self-development, but it has nothing to do with what you gain from it. But it has everything to do with everybody else that is receiving from it. That's why it's clear and precise and loving, and it's natural in its own way. It'll just come naturally, and there will only be love. You will be that breath of fresh air. You'll be that reason for someone being activated to know themselves, to love themselves, and to open up the door for another, to be a guide once again. Allow yourself to be guided, and then you will be able to give guidance. And if you love yourself, you'll be able to love others. And when you fully embrace the truth, you will channel the Spirit. And when you channel the Spirit, you are the I Am. I am because you are, and you are because I am. And we all are that we are. Sacrifice what you don't see. Channel your inner wisdom. And then the outer reality will have no other choice but to change with the current, with the ripple effect. And completely become the simultaneous presence of the omnipresence of the past, future, and present. And so it is. So I hope everyone enjoyed the meditation. And it just takes time. It just takes time to take just a little time out of your day to do that. Just to meditate every day, just to live your life. It's not even doing what I'm doing, but just do you. Live your life as you see fit. And just exist for all the transcendent reasons. Just choose to exist. And just choose to be true and choose to be that unconditional love for everyone. So God bless, namaste. Book private sessions as well. It's 1 hour for 120 and 2 hours for 220. And if you see me going live, I do live readings as well. So thank you. God bless. And namaste.